So today's session is about shyness, about being shy. Some of you might call it social anxiety, or you can call it shyness. By the way, it might not look like it, but I think even I'm a shy person. Okay, you might feel like. Do you guys think I'm a shy person? What do you guys think from the way I'm talking? Like, no, right? I know all of my friends think no way I'm shy, but yeah, you guys don't know. I sound like a very happy, extroverted, very I can make friends kind of guy. But trust me, when it comes to meeting new people, I feel really shy. So I think different people have different types of shyness. For me, it's particularly I find it hard and uncomfortable to meet a new person. I can do other things. I can talk on stage. I can do I can do public speaking. All that I can do. But meeting a new person and randomly just talking to them is something that I'm very shy about. All right, let's begin with some polls as usual. Let's start. Take your time. Yeah, most of you have answered. I can see, as you can see, I think option B, a kind of fear or anxiety around meeting new people. I'm glad very few of you chose the first option, a trait where people don't like other people. That's good because many people believe that shy people don't like other people. That's not true, right? In fact, shy people like other people. They, in fact, want to talk to other people. But it's a common misconception. So good. I'm glad that you guys don't have that misconception. So yeah, that's nice. Let's go to the next one. Ah, interesting question. I want to find out what you think about yourself. Are you a shy person? Do you think you're a shy person? Like half of you believe that you are shy. Okay. Um, and there's a split between I don't know and no. That's good. That's good. I'm glad that all. But in one sense, I'm glad that some of you have like an idea of what you are. Like you do feel shy or you don't feel shy. That's completely fine. All right. Let's go to the next one. I'm curious. This is another interesting question I have. Those of you who said yes, those of you who feel like you are a shy person, or those of you who said maybe, do you want to be unshy? Do you want to kind of fix it? Do you feel like you need to like get rid of the shyness? We have a majority. The majority of people feel like, hey, being shy is not good. They feel like, they want to change. They feel like the shyness has to be kind of fixed. It has to be rectified. Okay, that's completely fine. I understand. Oh, once again, interesting. Do you like parties? I can see that 60% of you, a good majority of you, love parties. You really like parties. Yeah, I'm one of you. I like parties too. Some of you think they're okay. They're like, okay, okay. Not all that great. I get that. And some of you are like, I hate them, sir. I hate them from the bottom of my heart. Why do parties exist? If you're wondering why am I asking you all these questions, don't worry. I will explain in a bit. Let's go to the next one. So imagine you had a free day, you had a random holiday. What would you prefer to do? And be honest, don't worry. Also, remember your options, okay? I'm going to come back to these. Make sure you keep a track of what answers you're giving. There's a reason for all these questions. Oh, it's like a 50-50 split. Interesting. Half of you are like, sir, I'd love to go out and play. Half of you are like, sir, I'd like to stay at home. There's a reason I was asking these questions. Have you guys heard of this term called introversion and extroversion? Yes, no? Raise hands. Sir, have you been told, hey, you're an introvert? I'm an extrovert. Introvert, extrovert. No terms? Some of you are like, yeah, yes, sir. Some of you are like, oh, yes, sir. Okay. Okay. Interesting. Those of you who haven't heard of it, it's like a term that's thrown around a lot. Generally, a person who doesn't like talking to people or doesn't enjoy going out and meeting new people, they are called introverts. Basically, people who like to stay at home, people who don't like parties too much, people who say enjoy reading a book, enjoy me time, basically, being by themselves. If you are like that, how many of you feel like you're like that? How many of you think that, sir, yes, sir, I don't like meeting too much people too much time. I'm energized by being with myself. If you believe you're like that, those people are generally called introverts. And extroverts, right? I think I'm an extrovert. Extroverts are people who love meeting new people, who enjoy meeting people, like who go out to parties, who will go out to meet friends, who get energy from meeting new people. So now that you know this, and I know some of you also feel like you know a little bit of it, answer some of these questions for me. Yeah, there's a reason I'm asking this question. So well, many of you chose the first option. Hey, introverts are people who hate meeting new people. That's actually a wrong answer. That's not true. Where I also kind of hinted at it. It's also a common misconception. Introverts are people who just are not energized by meeting new people. Okay, they actually like people. They like friends. It's not like they don't like friends. They do enjoy having friends. They enjoy people. They enjoy having company and so on. But they're not energized by it. They need energy. They need to push themselves to go, do it. Like for example, some people need energy. They need to push themselves to go work out, right? Whereas others work out by themselves, right? Work out or play by themselves. They like doing it. But some people don't. Similarly, introverts are people who kind of need to push themselves to go see new people. It's not like they hate it, but they need a push, right? Because they kind of prefer me time, right? If you look at the actual, I don't know, biology of it, it's um, actually they have something called the amygdala. Everyone has an amygdala in their brain. It's a part of their brain. An amygdala is like a part of your brain. For introverts, they get very highly, they're very sensitive to new, how should we say, inputs, right? Both visual, auditory, all those kind of inputs. They're very sensitive. So because they're sensitive, they become overwhelmed. Extroverts are not like that. Extroverts are less sensitive. It's a thing. It's like a brain thing, right? So by the way, there's nothing wrong in it. It's not a it's like a height thing. It's like a genetic thing. Like some people are born whatever. Like some people are born tall, some people are born short, or when they grow up they become tall and short. Some people are born with hair, without hair. Those things are genetic. You can't really change it, and there's nothing wrong in it, right? So some people are like kind of extroverts, and some people are introverts because of this reason, right? And some of the it's very commonly thought that introverts hate making friends. That's not true at all. I wanted to call that out. And the second thing that many people believe is because introverts are not very, they need a lot of energy, kind of meeting people, they're considered shy people. Like shy people are generally called introverts, okay? Or introverts are meant to be shy. That's not true at all. It's very possible for extroverts like myself to be shy, right? And it's also very possible for introverts to not be shy. So I'll come to that. If you believe introverts tend to be shy people, that's not true, right? So I'll come back to why I'm saying that. Remember, I asked you, hey, do you like parties? Some of you chose, I love parties. If you chose you love parties, it's very likely you're an extrovert. So many times only extroverts will love parties, right? If you chose like, they're okay, or if you chose I don't know, it's likely you're an introvert. Okay. Similarly, I think I asked you, I asked you another question, like on a free day, what do you like to do? And some of you said you would love to go out and play and meet friends. And some of you said that, no, sir, I'd like to chill at home and read a book, right? It's likely that if you're energized by going out and meeting people, it's very likely you're an extrovert. And if you feel on a free day, sir, no, sir, I want to chill at home. I like to read a book, watch a movie, or play a game. It's likely that you're an introvert, right? So knowing this, I want you to tell me what you think about yourself. Do you think you're an introvert or an extrovert? So many of you believe that you're a mix of both. You're not like, sir, I can't identify as an extrovert or an introvert. I'm like a mix of both. I'm like a combination. I'm like a cocktail. I get that. So I understand that sometimes you might like parties and sometimes you might like staying at home. But if you had to absolutely choose one, you'll choose one, right? Like if you had to order it, there's something you'll order as number one, right? Extroverts generally tend to order, like say, parties as number one, and introverts tend to order, say, staying at home as number one. So uh, keeping that information in mind, it's by the way, there's also this misconception that being introverted is bad. It's not good for you. That's not at all true. Okay, some people feel that way. In fact, it's very commonly thrown around. Hey, they're introvert. Hey, being introverted is bad. That's not at all true, because almost many leaders and many achievers, high achievers, are introverts. Like Bill Gates from Microsoft is an introvert. Sachin Tendulkar identifies as an introvert. I know many high performing introverts. So it's not at all true that introverted is bad. Um, and it's completely okay to be introverted, right? And generally you will fall in one side. You'll either fall on the extroverted side or on the introverted side, and it's completely fine. So now that we know this, there's a reason I'm talking about it, because it is related to shyness. And it's similar to what I said before. Many people believe that shyness is the same as introversion. They believe that, hey, if you're introverted, you're also shy. And that's not true at all. Shyness is completely different. Like many of you chose initially, shyness is more like a fear. It's like a it's like the closest feeling I can come up with is fear. It's a fear of meeting new people, fear of being judged, fear of feeling fear of, I don't know, feeling very, it's something new. It's like fear of the unknown, right? It's also close to it's also social anxiety is a very good term, in fact. When it comes to social interactions, you feel anxious, right? Anxiety is a good word for it. Like you feel scared to meet new people, or you feel scared to go up on stage and give a presentation, right? So that is very different. So today we're going to talk mostly about shyness, because that's what most of my students, when I say children, my students, most of my students have that problem, right? And many of the parents who talk to me say that their children struggle with it, and they want to help their children with shyness. So let's talk about shyness. So shyness is this. Let's understand this first. It's a fear. It's a fear of social interactions, any kind of social interaction. It can be meeting people, making friends, talking to your friends, talking to a teacher, talking to your parents, uh, stage fright, going up on stage, being more confident when talking, being scared of someone when they're angry, sharing your feelings. All of these come under that bucket. You're shy to share your feelings. All of this comes under shyness, right? Now, many of you said you identify as being shy, or many of you said you feel shy. Like, what do you think is the best way to tackle this? I'm curious. So yeah, when it comes to shyness, everyone thinks that, like, you can see, everyone feels the best way to overcome shyness is just to with willpower. Like you have to push yourself. You just have to do it. You should stop yourself. You should feel confident. You just have to be confident, and you'll be confident. You just have to jump. It's like it's equivalent to saying, "Hey, I'm scared of swimming, or I'm scared of the water," and the best way to get over that fear is to just jump, push yourself into the water. Do you guys believe that? Do you think that if someone is scared of the water or scared of swimming, the best thing to do is just push them into the water? Do you think that works? No, right? Like many of you, like, no, sir, that's not gonna work out. That person might just like get up, feel more scared. Well, that's true. So in it pushing them directly into like the deep end or pushing them into the water never works. It in fact only backfires. It makes it even worse. And it's the same with shyness, because shyness is also a fear. If you just push them into, say, someone is scared of talking on stage, they're shy about talking on stage, and if you feel like the best way to do that is to make them talk on stage, hey, no, you know what, you should push yourself and do it. That's a bad idea, because it's going to backfire. It's going to make them even more scared the next time, and the fear is only going to kind of get reinforced, right? But unfortunately, many people believe that that's the best way, and that's not. It's a bad idea. It only leads to, like I said, bad things. So what do you do? I'm pretty sure you're like, sir, okay, sir, enough. We've spoken about introversion, extroversion, shyness, and all. Like, what is the answer? How do you get over shyness? Well, the answer is something called exposure therapy. Okay, it comes from the field of therapy. When I say therapy, it's like counseling therapy, that kind of therapy, but it's fine. It's not very complicated. It's not like mental health and all that stuff. It's a very simple, or I wouldn't call it simple. Maybe simple is a. It's an interesting tool, or technique that you take out of that field, and to get better at shyness. Now, what is this exposure therapy? Let me show you. Yeah, just take like a minute to read it, like a couple of seconds to read this. Now, some of you might feel like, sir, this is similar. Isn't this like similar to just pushing them into the water? If they're scared of the water, just push them into the water. No, it's not. It's very different in the fact that, how is it different? You're slowly exposing them to their fear, but at very, very small, like, baby steps. For example, if someone is scared of the water, instead of pushing them into the pool, you first make them put one leg into a small bucket of water, then maybe two legs, whatever they're comfortable with, right? And then maybe make them sit in a bathtub, and then maybe sit in such a way that they're up to their neck. You see the difference? While it's similar, it's not the same, and it makes a world of a difference, because as you go step by step slowly, you slowly overcome your fear very slowly, and it makes a huge difference. Once you're done with it, the fear is completely gone, right? um, it's similar to how people tackle other fears. Let's say someone has a fear of snakes. They see snakes, they're extremely scared, right? Even harmless snakes, right? There are harmless snakes out there, but even then they're like extremely scared. So to help them with this fear, what you do is, instead of directly pushing them into a pit of snakes, you first show them a video of a harmless snake. See how they react. Get them, have them take that. Then maybe see it from a very far cage, one snake alone from a very far cage. And then slowly get them to even touching a very, very harmless snake. So you see the difference, right? You're not directly pushing them into the pit or into the water, you're taking them step by step. This is called exposure therapy, and this is probably the only way to get over any fear, not just shyness, any kind of fear. This is probably the only way, right? But it works. It works really, really well, right? Now let's come to a more relatable, real-world example, right? How many of you are scared or shy of giving a presentation in front of 100 people? Let's say tomorrow you have to go in front on stage and talk to 100 people and give a presentation. Be honest, how many of you are scared of it, or are shy of it? Many of you say yes, many of you also say no. To those who say no, aren't you like even a tiny bit scared, like tiny bit anxious? It's like tiny bit nervous. It's like, oh my god, what if I screw up? What if I do something stupid? What if everyone laughs at me? Isn't there like a tiny fear? Right? For some people it's less, for some people it's large. It's one of those big, very huge fears that many people have, right? Now, how would you use, let's say you have this fear, how would you use exposure therapy now in order to help you with this? You first write what is called a ladder, a fear ladder. Okay, so you build a fear ladder. Now, what is a fear ladder? Now, I'll give you an example. This is what you call a fear ladder, right? It's similar to the previous kind of technique I gave you. It's the same thing. You take it one step at a time, take it one small step at a time. Like as you see over here at the bottom, you first identify the topic. Let's say it's a presentation. The fear is giving a presentation in class. You identify the presentation. Next thing you do, which is simple, is observing others, right? Observing others giving a presentation is not that hard, it's not that fearful, right? Then you practice your presentation alone, right, at home and probably in front of the mirror. Then the next thing, which is slightly harder, slightly more fearful, or slightly more uncomfortable, is recording a video of it. Well, practicing in front of the mirror is easier. When I say easy, I mean it's not as nervous, or it's not as anxiety provoking. The next thing is recording a video. So record a video, right? Then do it in front of your family, because they're probably the least judgmental. They're not going to judge you. You're probably very comfortable with them. So maybe your family, or just a family, maybe just your mother or your father or your sibling, just one person, right? Then you take it to 2 3 friends. You see the up. Then from your family you move to your friends, some very close friends who will be supportive of you. And then finally you go to the class, go to the final presentation and give it in the class. This is very different, right? This is not the same as, sir, okay, I am shy about giving a presentation. What, next Monday I'm going to do it. I'm going to directly go do it. I'm going to push myself and do it. That's not what you should do. This is what you should do. You should go step by step, so that you overcome your fear a little bit, a little bit, and a little bit, and finally it feels super easy, right? This is an example of a fear ladder. Okay. Now, once you do this, once you create this fear ladder, you go one by one, finish it, finish it, finish it. Go face one fear, then fear two, fear three, four. Keep tracking your progress. Make sure you're writing down how well you feel at the end of it, and then move on to the next one, right? One thing to make note is, you move on to the next one only when you feel comfortable at one. So, for example, in the previous case, it was like, hey, give a presentation to your family first and then your friends. But you give a presentation to your family and you still don't feel comfortable about it. You didn't feel comfortable at the end. Don't do it. Don't move on to the next level. Once you feel, do it again. Go back to your family, like do another presentation. Go back to your family and do another presentation till you feel comfortable. And once you feel comfortable, move to the next one. So it's important to kind of overcome each level one by one. It's like, think of it like a game. It's like level 1, level 2, level 3. You break it down into multiple levels. You finish with level 1. Only when you finish level 1, you go to the next one. Only when you finish this level, you go to the next one, and so on, right? So this is basically the fear ladder and exposure therapy. Okay. Now, I want all of you to like take a piece of paper. Quickly take a notebook or a piece of paper. Next, I want you to, like, in your piece of paper, I want you to write down a fear that you're shy of. Some social interaction that you're shy or fearful of. It could be anything, even mildly. It could be talking in front of many people. It could be meeting new people. Like my fear is talking to new people, like people I don't know, talking to them. That's my fear. So right, if that's your fear, write that down. Or it could be talking to your, I don't know, someone you're scared of. Write that down. Any kind of social interaction that you are extremely fearful of or anxious about or scared about, write that down. Whatever that is, write that down. Okay, another 10 seconds, and anything is fine. Don't be too precise. It's okay. You don't have to be perfect. Whatever is the first thing that comes to your head, hey, this is my fear. This is my social fear. It has to be in the social domain. Don't write, hey, I'm scared of snakes or I'm scared of heights. Don't put that. Put something in the social domain, something that you feel shy about. Now that you have something in mind, next I want you to write down a fear ladder on the same notebook. I want you to draw like a fear ladder. I want the easiest one, the level one, the easiest level at the bottom, and the hardest level at the top. I want you to break down your fear into these levels. It's okay, don't be too precise. You don't have to be like perfect at this. Whatever you think is the best way to break it down. Even if it's like 3 to 4 levels, it's fine. It doesn't have to have so many levels. So what you have right now is your fear ladder. Okay. And what, so you have your level 1, you have your level 2, you have your level 3, you have your level 4, and so on, or how many other levels you have. What you do is you overcome. You have to think of it like a game. You finish level 1, then you finish level 2, then you finish level 3, and you finish level 4 till you finally reach your level. Right. So this is the probably the best way to is to overcome shyness. Okay, this is technique 1. Now, there are other techniques that are not as effective as this. This is probably the most effective, which I want you to take away. The other techniques are things like self-talk, self-confidence, like telling yourself you're amazing, you're great, and so on, which works sometimes, doesn't work all the time. My favorite technique, it's worked for me, and I know has worked for many, many people, is the exposure technique, the one I showed you, and breaking it down into the fear ladder and exposing yourself to each level. Okay, that's like the best technique. So I'm gonna pause here because I don't want to give you too much. And this is the technique, and I'm going to stop with this is one technique that I want you to take away. That's more than enough. You don't need too many techniques, right? With this in mind, now that you know all this and you have like a skill in mind, what do we let's summarize a little, and then I'll take some questions. To summarize, what we learned a little bit about introversion, extroversion, how people are generally introverts or extroverts, and it's not true that introverts are shy. It's not true. You can be either. It's completely fine. But some people are shy. It's okay. And if you're shy and if you want to overcome it, the best way to do it is using exposure therapy. And how do you do exposure therapy? You take your fear, you break it down into a fear ladder, and then you overcome level 1. You take basically level 1, level 2, level 3, level 4, level 5, and so on. Like these are the okay. That's the best way to overcome your fear and your shyness. So there's one nice question. Okay, I'm going to answer some of the questions. One is, why do people get shy? Well, that's like, it's like asking, why do people have a fear of heights? Some people have a fear of heights. Some people have a fear of snakes. Some people have a fear of, I don't know. Some people have fear of water, I guess. Some people might have fear of bald people. I don't know. These are random, right? You can't really you can't predict. There's no particular reason. It could be genetic. It could be social reasons. It could be how you grew up. It could be your cultural reasons. There could be so many things. So there is no straightforward answer to why people are shy. Some people are asking, can introverts and extroverts, so lots of questions around introverts, extroversion. Can you be a mix of introverts and extrovert? And also, hey, can an extrovert become an introvert become an extrovert, and so on. It's complicated. So it's possible. So one, see, you can be a mix of both. It's okay, but generally people fall under one category. Like I'm meaning, it's not like you'll be completely an extrovert, right? But you'll be slightly more extroverted than introverted, right? So there'll be something that you prefer. That's completely fine. There's, first of all, there's nothing wrong in being an extrovert, and there's nothing wrong in being an introvert. You can be a mix of both. You maybe sometimes you're extroverted and sometimes you feel introverted. That's possible. But the question is, most times, what do you like? What most of the time, what do you like doing? If it's most of the time you like meeting people, then you're likely extroverted. Can you change? It's possible, but not that easy. So introversion and extroversion is like a trait. Uh, it doesn't need to be changed, right? It can be the same. But if you're introverted, it's important to it's important to, for example, have push yourself, not push yourself, I would say it's important to understand the significance of social interactions and relationships, right? That's important. And it's also important to kind of change your surroundings for you. Like, it's okay to be introverted, but there are like introvert specific surroundings. Like, you can have group discussions that are introvert friendly, right? Where, introverts, for example, like writing docs and sharing their thoughts. They write their thoughts instead of saying their thoughts. So these kind of introvert friendly environments will be really helpful. So there are ways to tackle it, but it's a different thing. It's like a left-handed and right-handed. This, if you're left-handed, you tackle it differently. If you're right-handed, it's similar. Like, it's not like a good or a bad thing, right? But shy is somewhat different. It is important to kind of overcome your fear. Like, overcoming your fear will be helpful, and going through exposure therapy will be helpful, right? Some questions around exposure therapy itself, like, hey, is this, how long will it take? It changes, it varies from person to person. Generally, if you follow this ladder one by one and finish it, if you finish all the levels, you're mostly fine. You don't need to go back again, you'll be okay. That's one. Are there other techniques? Yes, but this is the most effective. What's the fear ladder for talking to strangers? Can you give me an example? Yeah, so talking to strangers, yeah, you can say, if it's talking to new people, that's the problem. I might say something like, I don't know, first do a role play, like level one. Say exactly what are you going to say. It's something like, hey, hi, how are you? Etc. Blah blah blah. Like, figure out exactly what you're going to say, and practice that. So that part is clear. Next part might be asking your asking your family to kind of act it out to you. Like, imagine they're a new person somewhere, like ask them to act as if they're a new person so that you go talk to them. That will probably be level, the next level. The next level might be asking your friend to be a stranger to you, act like a stranger to you, and go talk to them. And then, yeah, and so on. And then maybe uh go to the next one. Might be a place where it's okay, it is socially acceptable for you to go talk to a stranger, maybe like a club or something like that, or a sports festival where it's okay to just talk to a stranger. So slowly kind of, you know going over level 1, level 2, level 3 might be like a quick example of what kind of fear ladder you will build. What should I do if I want to show a large number of people I'm fun to talk to? How to be confident? So, how to be confident? So many times, if you overcome your shyness, or if you overcome your fear, you will start feeling more and more confident. The more you do this level 1, level 2, level 3, the more confident you will get. So confidence kind of comes as you do this. Is it bad? Is it bad to be too open to people, and it's not at all bad to be too open to people or too extroverted. Of course, you shouldn't be disrespectful, or you shouldn't be, I don't know, you shouldn't say unpleasant things, but it's completely fine to be, extroverted and talk to people. Nice question. Can we have more than one fear ladder at a time? Completely, yes. You might have multiple fears, right? You maybe have many types of social fears. Maybe you have two fears. One is talking to new people, and the second one is uh, talking in front of a lot of people. Both, you might have both fears. It's completely fine. You can have separate fear ladders for each, and then go through each level for each of them separately. And yeah, with that, I think these were most of the questions. With that, we are done for today. But thank you so much for coming to the nice Saturday evening to talk to all of you. I had fun. I will see you again one of these Saturdays in the next masterclass. All right. Bye guys. Have a good day. Have a good weekend. Bye bye.